Thankful that those storms weren't as widespread as what some of those models were showing over the past 24 hours. So really thankful for that. Also want to be thankful our NOAA weather radios. They are back online again. So if we have active weather going into the weekend, they will work and let you know if there's any updates, warnings, or anything like that. So good news. Those upgrades from the National Weather Service have been finally completed and things are good to go. So with that in mind, let's talk about the next big thing, and that's going to be, you guessed it, additional rain chances over the next 6 days. Here's just what some of the models are showing for the southeast over the next 7 days. And you can see all these colors on the map. You start seeing yellows and oranges. We're talking about at least 1 to 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Parts of Tennessee could see 3 to 5 inches of rain. So it looks like another wet pattern setting up for us as we finish out the month of May. The good news is that we're staying relatively dry for tomorrow and Friday, but notice as we go into the weekend, unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with opportunities for showers and thunderstorms, becoming widely scattered in nature Saturday, becoming scattered Sunday, and pretty likely as we go into Monday into Tuesday. So we'll be watching that very carefully. Looking ahead with those morning low temperatures, you'll notice we have some lower humidity to deal with, and lower humidity, dry air allows you to cool down a bit. So I think tomorrow morning we're going to start out in lower 60s. We could see some upper 50s, perhaps Friday and Saturday. And then as we go into the Sunday and Monday with increasing humidity, those temperatures are going to trend a little bit warmer. So let's look ahead at rain chances. Now I really think we're going to stay dry tomorrow and Friday, but there is a disturbance up to our north, and I really think it's going to stay to our north. But there could be a lone shower, perhaps northern parts of Coleman, Blount, Etowah, Cherokee counties early tomorrow morning. So make sure you tune in to Good Day Alabama. Megan will have updates about that. But as you can see, most of us are going to stay dry, and we'll see those temperatures warm into the low to mid 80s with a mostly sunny sky tomorrow afternoon. And then we're going to see a weak cold front make its way through here early Friday morning, and there's a hint that we could see a couple of showers as well. So I've got a 20% chance of rain Thursday night into Friday. That moves out, and then we'll see some slightly cooler temperatures, maybe some upper 70s to near 80 Friday. And once again, the humidity levels pretty comfortable. But then notice as we go into the weekend, more disturbance moving in from the northwest. That's a concern because that could bring in another wave of showers and storms, and it looks like it could be a little unsettled as we go into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So looking at the European model, rainfall totals through Wednesday, we could easily pick up a couple of inches of rainfall, so isolated flooding could be an issue due to all the rain we've already experienced this past month. So that's going to be the next big thing we're going to be tracking, those rain and storm chances. So from yesterday's storms, the National Weather Service in Birmingham confirming 2 tornadoes across central Alabama, an EF1 being confirmed in Bullitt County with winds at 105 miles per hour, and another one in Cleburne County with winds at 95 miles per hour in parts of North Alabama. 3 tornadoes are being confirmed, with the strongest being 2 EF2s in Madison and Limestone counties, and storm surveys are ongoing. And check out some of these views you all sent in through the social media and the First Alert Weather app. Josh Burnham sent this of that tornado warned storm in Ragland, and Michael Johnson with the rain and wind in Golden Springs. Saw similar videos like that everywhere. And then of course we've got Joe DeBoer from Priceville, Thompson Road. Looking at those pictures, ominous looking sky there. Looks like could be maybe a funnel cloud perhaps. And then Derek Hendricks with the lightning storm there in Jacksonville. And I'm telling you, that lightning was nonstop in parts of Calhoun and Cherokee counties. We were seeing that yesterday when we were covering those storms. Damage and debris scattered across so many of our neighborhoods and communities from those powerful overnight storms. The National Weather Service still surveying the damage like this in Calhoun County. Many trees being knocked over by those strong winds. And one of those families in East Alabama talking to us after overnight storms brought a huge tree down onto their home, trapping a teenager under the debris. Keith Ward saying he's been working to support his family as they heal emotionally. And after being buried under debris in a tornado himself, Ward says he understands how it feels.
And this is what I told him a while ago. I said, baby, you don't have to feel bad about it, because you can ask your mother. Your mother and the granddad were in the Goshen tornado Palm Sunday of 1994, And she wasn't hurt, but I was buried under brick and block and had 13 broken ribs, and I was out of work 3 months. So Granddad knows how it feels to be buried under something. So you're going to be okay.
And Ward also saying his daughter's family will have to move into a new home while crews work to remove the tree and place a tarp on it to prevent more water from getting inside. And check out this video from 5 Mile Road. You can see the trees knocked over last night in East Jefferson County. Crews work today to clear those trees down. And taking you to North Alabama, here's another view of that tornado that impacted parts of Athens yesterday afternoon. Scary scene there. This was one of the 3 tornadoes across the area where some structures sustained damage. Claudia Peppenhorst from our sister station WAFF has the latest on how these storms impacted the communities and what they're doing now to begin the cleanup and restoration process.
Well, this apartment complex community right here in Madison off of Wall Triana Highway was hit hard by last night's storms. Several trees were down, some completely uprooted, just like the one you see right here behind me. But that's not all that this community endured.
Man, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
The Madison Heights apartment complex was slammed by last night's severe weather. One woman who did not wish to go on camera woke up to her worst nightmare.
As I was going in my room, I was laid in my room, and then just a loud pow. The tree came straight through my bedroom.
Then 20 minutes later, the ceiling in her living room collapsed. Now she's left to pick up the pieces from a horrific night.
I came from nothing, didn't have no apartment, nowhere to go. And I've been in here for about 2 years now, and it's gone.
Other areas south of Wall Triana were also affected by the storms. Trees littered numerous roads, many completely uprooted. Others split down the middle. Limbs on top of cars, also downed power lines, knocking out power for the entire community overnight. Now, thankfully, that woman is okay, but she did tell me that her foot was injured after a piece of her roof fell down on top of her. There have been no other reported injuries from this area. Reporting in Madison, Claudia Peppenhorst, 48 on your side.
And Alabama Power bringing an update on those power outages across the state. As of 2 p.m., fewer than 4,000 customers remained without power, and they can expect to have it restored by midnight tonight. More than 30,000 customers were impacted by the storm. And in 30 seconds, we talk about a new record set for parts of central Alabama, and we'll take you around the globe to places who have also experienced significant severe weather. We'll be right back. All right here on Weather Extra, did you know, of course, yesterday was unusually warm. We had temperatures climbing up into the upper 80s as those storms were making their way in. But we had some really warm, low temperatures that actually broke some records. So I highlighted the cities that broke their old record, and these are morning low temperatures. So we only dropped down to 74 degrees in Birmingham. The old record was 73, and believe it, that record happened recently, back in 2022. Tuscaloosa, you only dropped to 74 degrees yesterday as well. Your old record was 72 degrees, believe it or not, back in 2022. And then Anniston, you were that close of maybe tying that record. You actually hit 68. The old record was actually 69. So you were just a degree cooler and unfortunately to tie that record, and that record was set back in 2001. So that's something we've been watching lately in the recent years with lots of moisture in the atmosphere. Those morning lows not nearly as cool as they used to be. And we're not the only ones breaking records. Southern California preparing for summer-like heat this week that could reach the triple digits. The hottest days lasting through tomorrow, according to the National Weather Service. Temperatures could reach up to 105 degrees tomorrow in Palm Springs, with coastal communities even seeing record high temperatures despite being near the ocean. People in these areas are advised to avoid strenuous activities during the afternoon hours on these high heat days. And taking you now to the Midwest and the Plains, where the cleanup and restoration efforts continue after the severe weather outbreaks left devastating damage. These are aerial views of the before and after images in London, Kentucky, Marion, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri. An EF4 tornado confirmed in London, Kentucky after those weekend storms, and an EF3 tornado being confirmed out of St. Louis. And this comes as Mississippi college student had a very close encounter with that tornado out of St. Louis last week. It spun her car around and took her out of it. Allie Ware has the story.
Got through, I called to my mom and I was like, Mom, it's taking me, it's taking me.
We're in the tornado!
When tornadoes ripped through St. Louis Friday, Jackson State student Maya Grimes was just minutes from her home. Her mother was here in Jackson when she got the call.
You can only imagine as a mother how I was feeling, and I didn't know what she was talking about, what was taking her.
And my car started spinning in circles and spinning and spinning and spinning, and the whole time I was spinning, I was just screaming, Jesus, 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 with my eyes closed, bracing for impact. And I really thought, that was my last moment. All of my windows busted out on both sides of my car, and the driver's side door opened, and I flew out of the car. I was wearing my seatbelt. I had on a crossbody purse, and before I knew it, I was sliding 40 yards down this busy street in St. Louis, and my only thought was to just survive.
When the wind died down some, a bloody Maya stood on the side of the road looking for help when an ambulance just happened to drive by.
I asked them, I flagged them down. I was like, can you please help me? Can you please help me? And they told me to get in, and they were like, that's your car out there? And I said, yes. And they were like, there's no way that you should have gotten out of that. Are you sure no one helped you out?
I just could not believe it that my baby had such a traumatic experience, and at the same time I was so grateful and so thankful to know later on, in the process, to know that she was okay.
Maya says she's so grateful to be alive and is now trying to process through what happened to her and work through the weather anxiety that it's caused.
And extreme weather conditions also happening around the world. Widespread flooding on the southwest coast in Australia, leading to many being stranded. Emergency crews have conducted over 150 rescues by boat and helicopter, and so far, but thousands are still cut off by floodwaters and are without power.
Been a number of rescues, as I said, a lot of people with a number of pets. We've had cats, dogs, budgies, and a number of animals rescued as well. So there's been a lot of full boats that we've seen, and as I said, we're trying to get along to everyone and as many people as we can on these boats in these floodwaters.
And the Manning River in Taree surpassed the record flood level set in 1929, peaking at nearly 21 feet. And don't go anywhere. We talk about what you can expect for your Thursday and what those conditions will be like as you prepare to hit the road for Memorial Day weekend. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Weather Extra. And of course, the storms from yesterday were really intense. And once again, I'm thankful it wasn't as widespread. Otherwise, we would have had a lot of issues, even Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. But just want to note, we actually got a confirmed report now from the National Weather Service. They finished their survey in the Birmingham area and found another tornado. This would make it the 6th tornado in the state and the 3rd one from the Birmingham office. This was in Calhoun County, EF1 with the 95-mile-per-hour winds near the Sachs area. So they found it about a path length of about 3.5 miles. But in total, when you look at those storm reports, we saw 15 tornadoes, 220 reports of damaging winds, and 65 reports of large hail. And I guess we can increase that 15 to 16 now that we got that new report in. Your weather headlines, thankfully we got some quiet weather for the next couple of days. There could be a stray shower to the north tomorrow morning, and I think we'll see temperatures slightly cooler Friday, and then more showers and storms returning going into the weekend. We've been enjoying some sunshine, that lower humidity with those dew points now in the 50s, and it's all thanks to this cold front that pushed through the area, and it's given us some pretty pleasant weather. So tomorrow morning we'll likely wake up into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Once again, we could see a few showers up to the north, but I think most of us are going to stay dry. No need to worry about the rain gear tomorrow. In fact, we'll see lots of sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures warming up into the low to mid 80s with a west-northwest wind right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. The humidity, the mugginess will remain out of the picture for the next couple of days, but notice those dew points climbing into the upper 60s and 70s, and that means it's going to be pretty muggy as we go into your Sunday and into Memorial Day. So I just want to give you that first alert. The next big thing are those rain chances that I was talking about earlier in the show. Notice we could see a few showers Saturday morning and into the afternoon. The models are showing a better chance for showers and storms, so we may have to increase that rain chance even more. And then as we go into your Sunday, we're looking at another round of showers and storms. So it's going to be very unsettled going into your Memorial Day and eventually going into Tuesday. So just make sure you monitor your First Alert weather app. Was watching and looking at the severe parameters, and there could be a couple of strong storms, especially Sunday and Monday as we warm up into the mid 80s. But until then, if you need to knock out some yard work from all the debris from the storms, tomorrow, Friday looks good. You'll have some dry hours as well over the weekend, but you may have to dodge those showers and storms. We're going to see some warmer temperatures though. We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s, and notice those highs in the 80s, and then hopefully as we go towards the middle part of next week, we start to dry out just a little bit. And as we continue to talk about the impacts left across the Midwest after those tornadoes, our community not only making adjustments for those cleanup efforts, but for the arrival of new residents. Olivia Young has the latest.
In his near 50 years living in the Bennett area, Rob Anderson has avoided a tornado until Sunday.
Home. Been here for 40 plus years. This is the first one I've ever had hit me.
While preparing to load up his horses for a competition out of state, Anderson says his sister warned him of the tornado.
I come around the south end of the barn here and there was a tornado sitting over there. And I says, okay, I said, this ain't looking good.
He rushed to get his horses into the barn and take shelter. When he emerged, he surveyed the damage.
I kind of went hysterical, I guess you could say. I saw my trailer sitting over there. I saw them 2 trailers right there. One shed here gone, the other shed on the side of the barn gone. Just a mess.
The horse trailer had been ripped open and thrown across the property. Other trailers, sheds, and even a bedroom window were also destroyed.
Just been picking stuff up here, there, and everywhere. That's all I can do.
While no one was hurt in this tornado, Anderson knows that future twisters could threaten more homes in his community.
So the town has been small. We have been prepping, though. We knew the eventual growth, as all growth is coming east within the metropolitan area.
The town of Bennett says managing severe weather in the growing community means leaning on partners like Arapahoe and Adams counties.
Yesterday was really a testament to see that that preparation does pay off.
If there's one thing Anderson knows, it's that severe weather comes with the territory.
It's a chance you take.
But despite a whirlwind of devastation, it's a chance Anderson says he'll still take.
Couldn't get me to live in the city. No.
All right, let's look ahead beyond the 7-day to get an idea of what we can expect as we finish out the month of May and go into the first couple of days of June. And whenever you see blue colors for temperature outlooks in our area in the June, That's always a good thing because, as you know, it can get really hot around here. Looks like a lot of heat or above average temperatures in the western half of the country, but it looks like odds are possible we could see temperatures perhaps below average. In fact, I got a little bullseye right on top of us, 50% chance of below average temperatures. So what does that mean? Well, if our average high is about mid-80s, maybe a little bit cooler than that. So we'll see what happens with that. And then what about the outlook for precipitation or rain? Looks like it's going to be a little bit drier up across the Great Lakes and the northern plains, but perhaps a little more unsettled in parts of Texas and along the Gulf Coast. And it gives us an equal chance to see some wet weather and dry weather, but it does indicate maybe chances are a little bit higher that we'll see opportunities for rain. And honestly, with this pattern that we've been seeing all month long, wouldn't surprise me if we'll finish out the month pretty wet. In fact, I know we are, because it's going to be pretty soggy around here as we go into Memorial Day and into next Tuesday. That's a look at your Beyond the 7-Day. We'll be right back with your final check and on weather and look at your weather photos right after the break. All right, got some more photos that you submitted. Teresa Swanger with the sunset at Fort Morgan. Isn't that a gorgeous view? Love a sunset at the beach. We got Stephen Warsaw showing those clouds outside his home. And then, of course, we've got another photo right here. This is from Emily Baswell, sunset in Ohatchee. Gotta love those colors in the evening. A little bit of clouds give you that texture. And then we got another sunset by Kaylee Doucette. So gorgeous views. And if you got those photos, of course, submit them through the WBRC First Alert Weather app. Of course, we've got some nice weather in the short term. If you're going to the SEC baseball tournament, we're looking good tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the low to mid 80s, a nice breeze and lower humidity, so no issues there. I know there's a lot of cleanup involved with those storms, and so if you got to clean up that yard, of course, the yard work forecast looking good for tomorrow, Friday. You might be able to knock out some yard work Saturday, but you may not be able to Sunday into Monday. So a little unsettled pattern, as you can see on our 7-day. We got those first alerts for you for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays. Those rain chances are more elevated, and we could see some stronger storms with highs into the low to mid 80s. But hey, let's just enjoy the nice weather. We've earned it. We deserve it. So make sure you tune in tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll have more information. I'll have more updates regarding that weekend rain potential. Have a great evening and a great Wednesday night.